The really exciting thing about what we do is we're able to develop technologies that have an impact on people's lives almost immediately. So we develop technologies here at Portland, and we're all engine nerds. We really enjoy the technology and developing things in the lab. But what's really exciting is being able to take those and bring them over to communities in Kenya or in Indonesia or Rwanda or Guatemala and install them and see them have an impact on people's lives immediately. See the water go from being non-potable and bacterially contaminated to clean drinking water. At the same time, these are our partners and our clients in a way, these target communities. It's not a laboratory down there, and we have a commitment and we do our best to hold ourselves accountable the same way we would if we're developing a water system for the city of Portland. We have a few different things that we're doing in collaboration with NASA now. Some of our work is in microgravity fluid management, where we have to be able to control liquids and gases separately when we don't have gravity to separate them. And we do that with passive phase separation, where we use capillary action to separate liquids from gases. And this is a more robust way of doing things than what's been done in the past, where you have rotary systems that are easily clogged and break, and you can break your whole water management system on the space station if your motor goes out. And so we do a lot of microgravity fluid management. And another project that students are working on is a halogen light bulb, where some of the scientists at NASA saw that their grow lamps for plants were changing their energy use and the heat output in space because there isn't natural buoyancy to cool them down and move the hot air away from the lamp. And so the students here are designing an experiment that will test in the drop tower here at PSU and then go down to Houston in a few months and fly it on the Vomit Comet, which is NASA's airplane that flies parabolas, and we're weightless inside of it for about 30 seconds at a time. And that's where the students will be able to test their improved design. So the drop tower, Professor Mark Weislogel recently brought that online. He is also a former NASA engineer, and he was traveling to Houston or to Cleveland pretty regularly to use the drop towers or the Vomit Comet that NASA offers. And that got a little expensive and was time consuming, so he decided to actually build a drop tower here. And so in the lobby we can get 2.2 seconds of microgravity. And that lets us test hardware that we then are able to bring to NASA and get a lot more science going, coming right out of PSU. So the Vomit Comet is a commercial-sized jet that is gutted on the inside, it's lined with foam, and we bolt our experiments to the floor of the airplane. And it flies parabolas over the Gulf of Mexico, where for 30 seconds at a time, at the peak of that parabola, you're weightless. You have less than 1/100th of a G on you. So you're floating around the airplane, and your experiment's also weightless. The entire airplane's weightless. And so we're able, in that environment, to test things that we can't test here on Earth. Primarily, our focus is on microgravity fluid management, where we develop these capillary-based systems, and the only way we can test that is in a true reduced gravity environment. So either in a drop tower, on the airplane, or up in space. On Earth, gravity dominates fluid controls, and we can't test the stuff that we build. So that's why we bring them down to Houston, mount them into the airplane, and go up with them. And so we're floating around, operating our experiment while we're weightless. And then at the end of that 30 seconds, the plane pulls up and you weigh 2 Gs. You weigh twice as much as you normally do. And we do that for up to 70 times in a row. What we're really excited about now is we've cut our teeth on developing technologies and working in remote rural environments, but we're excited now about being able to play on a level where we can offer a service across the sector through these instrumented monitoring systems, both local monitoring and remote monitoring. We can actually operate and observe our water treatment systems that are on right now in Rwanda from here. So we have systems that are in remote communities in Rwanda where there are cell phones that are relaying the data to us here in Portland, and we can observe the condition of our systems. And that's something that we want to offer across the development sector to improve accountability and improve data collection and ultimately better serve people in these communities.
This is the LifeStraw family. It's a family scale water treatment device. The way it works is you pour water in the top, goes through the system. It's an ultrafiltration system. When the water comes out on the other side, it's clean. What we're doing is we're working with the company that developed this product to implement monitoring technology. These are the data loggers that monitor water level, and essentially we're monitoring how often and how much it's used.
My name is Peter Kahn. I'm a post-bac student at Portland State University in the Civil Engineering Department, currently working as a research assistant in the Suite Lab at Portland State. What I'm working on is a somewhat atypical project for the Sweet Lab, given that what we are doing is monitoring pedestrian foot traffic across rural pedestrian footbridges in environments where populations are cut off, usually by a body of water, from services on the other side of the bank. So that could be democratic services or elections, taking cattle to market, any type of services, educational, so on and so forth. We have two different implementations that we're doing. One is a pyroelectric sensor that is sort of an off-the-shelf solution. This senses differences in temperature. So once it's set up, it calibrates to a standard environments within the field that it's sensing, and up to or down to 1 degree Celsius in difference, it reads the difference. So when someone crosses into that field, it sees the body temperature, sensitive enough to tell the difference between horses, humans, cattle, so on and so forth. So you could count a lot of different things with it. The other implementation that we're doing is a in-ground pad that actually senses micro variations in pressure. So it's essentially an acoustic reading of footsteps across. The first stage is to simply count traffic to get usage, raw usage numbers. The interesting part, and this is where it's going to tie into other departments within the university, is to start correlating that data to other studies. For instance, what are they using the bridge for? Where are they going once they cross the bridge? This project is an example of Sweet Lab's partnership with other organizations in the field. So for instance, we are partnering with an organization called Bridges to Prosperity. They're an organization, a nonprofit organization that does this type of work around the globe, primarily in Asia, Africa, and Latin America, and is a really interesting example of how Sweet Lab continues to partner with organizations outside of the academic field.
So the other exciting thing about working here is Portland is an environment, is a city that's very embracing of green technology and sustainability. The whole city is behind that concept, and here at PSU, the lab is integrated, it works in association with the Institute for Sustainable Solutions at Portland State, and we have a synergistic relationship with many other departments on campus where the work that we do complements work that's going on in the business school or the School of Architecture or the Institute for Sustainable Solutions, and we get to collaborate across the university and across the region to have a better impact on furthering sustainability.